Students, today we are discussing about the internal components of computer. The internal components of the computer are those which are kept inside the box or chassis of the computer. Processor, motherboard, memory, the in device, hard disk, drives, hard disk, video card, power supply, PCI cards, and cable. Now, so we have to discuss about these components. So from we will start from motherboard. The motherboard is a printed circuit board which holds the essential parts of the computer and maintains the communication between all parts. Printed circuit board is a board made up of non-conducting material such as plastic and fiberglass. Electronic components are attached to this board using metal. Generally, the parts of motherboards are as follow. First, socket to hold the CPU. CPU is the processor, main microchip. Okay, so mounting places for heat sink and fan. Heat sink is an electronic device which observes the heat generated by processor while working. When we process anything, when processor is working, it generates heat, and heat is observed by heat sink fan. So we use heat sink fan. A slot or socket to hold memory chips like RAM and different graphic card chips. Then slot to for maintaining connectivity to input and output device. Whatever we put in, whatever we insert, just like keyboard, mouse to the system unit, we need a slot or socket to insert our input output device. Now, slot for one or more hard disk drives. We need slots for hard disk drive, or we need slot for external hard disk. So do you know what is mounting process? When external device are connected to internal hard disk, it share data and addresses. The whole process is known as mounting process. In mounting process, one internal device is connected to our external device. Okay, so a read-only memory ROM which stores the startup instruction or BIOS of the computer. So ROM is an read-only memory which stores the BIOS, and with the help of BIOS we can start our computer. A slot for video and graphic card. Video or graphic card is a board carrying the circuit needed to display on the screen or monitor. Now we will discuss an important thing. Here you should know the software stored permanently into the read-only memory by the manufacturer is known as firmware. So what is firmware? It is stored by the manufacturer. It is the software which is stored in a read-only memory. Firmware is also programmed to control various devices such as CD, DVD and camera, etc. Now after this we will understand power supply. You are certainly aware that the computer runs on electricity. Our household equipments run with AC power supply, but inside the computer it works with DC electricity. So AC means alternate current, DC means direct current. Okay, also the voltage required in a computer is much less than our household power supply. Therefore, the computer uses a unit called power supply unit, PSU, which changes AC input to DC inside the computer and also reduce the input voltage value. The power supply unit used is referred to as switched mode power supply. Okay, SMPS, switched mode power supply. It can provide three types of output voltages, namely 3 volt, 5 volt, 12 volt after stepping down the input power supply of the range. Okay, so 222 to 40 volts. Now here port. What are the port? USB port, everyone knows, ear port, C port. Okay, so here we are discussing about the ports with from where we can input or we can connect our input or output device to the system unit. As you know, port is a location through which you can either enter or exit from the city. Okay, similarly a computer has also port is a place to interface which connects the computer to other devices. Okay, there are internal ports for connecting hard disk drive, CD or DVD, and external ports to connect printer, mouse and modem. Now here we have to understand serial and parallel transmission. While going to this topic, we have to understand the full form of PCI. PCI means peripheral connectivity interface. Okay, so peripheral component interconnect. Peripheral component interconnect card. PCI means peripheral component interconnect. Okay, so you can search on Google also whenever you need. Okay, now here power supply. After the power supply we have read about port. Now parallel and serial transmission. Now digital data can be transmitted between sender and receiver in two different ways: parallel transmission and serial transmission. In parallel transmission, a group of bits of data flow at same time using separate communication line, that is wires or cables. In other word, a block of data flows at the same time, therefore the data transmission is fast. So in parallel transmission, data use separate lines at the same time, so it can be move fast or send. The speed of sending data is fast. So what is baud? Bit per second is a unit of speed of data transmission, named after the scientist Emil Baudot. Now here in serial data transmission, one bit at time moves through a medium, that is when a group of bits of data flow, the bits flow one by one sequentially through the single communication line. Now here USB port is there. USB port is generally used for short distance communication. It is used in almost all types of electronic devices. For example, printer, scanner, modem. So these are the USB port. From parallel transmission we have to go to the serial transmission. The port used to serial transmission is called serial port, and from serial transmission I have to explain. In serial data transmission, one bit at a time moves through the medium, that is when a group of bits of data flows, the bit flow one by one sequentially through a single communication line. It's slower than parallel transmission. So all we know that parallel transmission is faster than serial transmission. Parallel transmission requires multiple cable, but serial transmission it requires single communication line. So parallel transmission is faster than serial transmission, and in parallel transmission we can send multiple bits at same time. In serial transmission we can send data one by one, bit by bit. Okay, so after that USB port, accelerated graphic port, we will discuss modem also in next video. Thank you to all.